Thank you very much for inviting me. It's really a pleasure. It's the first time that I'm teaching fintech in India. Generally speaking, after the definition of fintech today, I just wanted to make sure that we all understand that fintech is a global issue on one hand, but on the other hand, it's very, very correlated to daily routines. So I'm going to give you the global perspective of fintech. I have been learning about fintech in India, which is very interesting. And I also want to share with you what is going around the world, especially in the US and in the UK and in Israel, but also in Australia. So this fintech course will have a global overview of the development of financial technology. I want to start with the presentation. 1 minute, please. Where is my presentation? Okay, so I'm the CEO and founder of Fintech for Longevity. This is a research and consulting company. We are a global platform working with financial services and fintechs around the world to redefine the relationship with the demographic trend of aging. But except my expertise in the longevity economy or fintech for aging, I teach fintech in many places, and I'm really happy to be here too. And thank you very much for the Ahmedabad Management Association, as this course is a partnership between AMA and Fintech for Longevity. Now, as I understood, you are not in the beginning of your academic career. This is part of your executive training. So I will be speaking to you in the level of executives, meaning that we are going to use a lot of examples, but also a little bit of academic background, just to give the sense of where fintech came from. And so I think that this course can be very, very interesting, but also can be practical for you, the executives that will register to the course. I want to tell you 2 minutes about Israel. Israel is good friends with India. So our prime minister, or the former one, was very much in good relationship with Modi. And one of their relationships were based on the technology, because both Israel and India are very good in technology. So we here are called the startup nation. And in the last couple of years, there were very big, successful fintechs coming out from Israel and became a unicorn. What is a unicorn? A company that its valuation is above $1 billion. So Israel is really an innovation center, and we have a lot of fintechs here that started many years ago. Now, I understand that India is like something like 10 years behind, but behind Israel in terms of the development of fintech, financial technology. But interestingly, you are much more advanced in terms of delivering financial services to the mobile phones. So here in Israel, the challenge is to move from traditional banking to fintechs, while also in India, there is another layer, is to give financial services to the unbanked. So this is like different approaches, but very interesting, because at the end of the day, technology is democratizing and it's for all. So what is fintech? The definition, the basic definition of fintech is that it's an umbrella term that refers to technology that automates and facilitates the delivery of financial services. So as I point here, it has to involve technology, automation, facilitation, and delivery of financial services. So all these together is financial technology. So for example, if we think on a payment app on a mobile phone, it involves technology, automation, it facilitates the payment process, but it also delivers financial services, which is the money that is moving. Now, the demonetization in India in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, has made a lot of boost for the innovation of finance. And this is in line with other places in the world where regulation is a driver for innovation. So I will speak more about this in the course, but we tend to think that regulation is a barrier to innovation. But in financial services, we have a lot of examples from the last couple of years that regulation has given a boost to financial technology. So how is the fintech delivered to people or to companies? It's delivered quickly, simply, and securely. Now, quickly and simply is not so much important, or it is important, but security is the #1 foundation of fintech. Because we speak about our money, which is our privacy, so fintech has to be very much secured. And this has a lot of developments, what we call cyber fintech, in the last couple of years, or in the last decades even, to make sure that fintech is secured. So fintech cannot live without cyber fintech. So we can all trust this, the technology. So fintech can be a software or a service or a business. But also when we think about who is fintech, like an app, payment app. So now the borders between what is a fintech or what is a bank and what is not a bank is becoming very much blurred, because retailers also are becoming interested in delivering fintech to individuals. So Facebook and Amazon, but also governments, are becoming involved with financial technologies. So probably we can say that these are fintechs as well. So why is it important to study fintech? Not only because it relates to our day-to-day life, but also it can generate growth to everyone. So take the example of micro-lending to rural areas. If mobile phone can help us to make a transaction, even of $1 in a rural area, so it generates financial mobility and social mobility to people all around the world, which are not necessarily in urban places and not necessarily working with the traditional banking system. But fintech can also generate growth to big companies who want to crowdfund or use fintech for lending. So it generates growth for everyone. And between this individual in the rural area and the big companies, there's a lot of companies, small and medium business companies, that use fintech for many of their processes. Now, in our course, I will do my best not to use too much of jargon or difficult words from the fintech world. I will also try to not to lecture too much, but also to have open discussions in the course. But the answer to the question why is it important to study fintech? So as I said, it generates growth to everyone. So what are you going to have? What are the key takeaways from the course? You will understand what financial disruption is, or what is fintech as a disruptor for the financial world. You can also understand everyday problems. How can fintech solve everyday problems? Like, for example, what is the difference between peer-to-peer and e-commerce? Peer-to-peer is when people pay one each other, and e-commerce is more when you pay for something you buy from a store, an online store. So fintech is everywhere, and you will understand everything that you're already doing. You will understand what is the context of the financial technology. But fintech also provides many opportunities for growth, for gender equality, for financial inclusion for the unbanked or the underserved. So now it's quite interesting that all over the world, people are looking on the relationship of fintech and financial inclusion. But more than that, also there is starting in the research in the academic world to see how fintech adheres to the UN sustainability development criteria challenges. So I will speak also about fintech and how it can be good for society. But fintech is not necessarily simple. As we know, probably payments and microloans and even crowdfunding and lending can be based on very simple technology. But other fintechs are based on data science. For example, fintech for health, or fintechs that help us to do very good segmentation of people's risk aversity, behavioral characteristic, etc. So data science helps financial technology to grow by succeeding more and more in personalizing people's behavior, and therefore offer them the right products at the right time. Fintech has new business models like affiliations and revenue shares. It has risks like the risk of breach of privacy. We spoke about inclusion, but we also speak we will speak about the consequences of fintech, one of which is unbundling. Because of the open API or open banking, which I explained in the course, fintech can be unbundled, meaning that you can be offered a loan when you go to the dentist. So is the dentist becoming your bank? Or you can be offered a loan when you go to to retail, to the department store. So are the department stores becoming insurance companies or banks? So the unbundling of the financial services together with the data science and technology means that everything is banking. And this, I think, is the most interesting thing about fintech, is to understand how technology has the ability to democratize financial services, not only to everyone, but also to other types of businesses that formerly were not considered as financial institutions. As I said before, I will speak about the global view. I promise that I will do my best to be very much savvy about the Indian context of fintech, but also I will speak about regulation in Israel, the trend of open banking in Australia, regulations by the FCA in the UK, and more. So now I want to move on a little bit about pedagogy. So I know that you're very, very busy and you are not students of a first degree, So I will try that the homework and the assignments will be very much interesting for you in the sense that you can learn from it. So by the end of the week before the course starts, meaning by the 23rd of July, I will send you a pre-program assignment, which will, I'm telling you now, but I will send it more in a written email. I would like you to look around you and say, what is things that you are dealing with on a daily basis that you consider as a financial technology based on the definition that I just told you about, and I will send you in the email. So you can think and look around you and say, what is financial technology based on these definitions? We're going to have 3 sessions. The first one will be on the 30th of July, then the 6th of August and 13th of August for 3 hours. And we will have a 15 to 20 minutes break in the middle. And this is 2 to 5 p.m. is Indian time. As I said before, I want first to learn from you, and I think that we will have at the end of each session about 15 to 20 minutes for open discussion. And of course, as I said, case studies, but not only fintechs, really fintechs. I will describe to you all the verticals of fintechs. For example, insurtechs are insurance technologies that are more related to insurance world, but also PFMs, which are personal finance managements, and other like fintech cyber and others that are considered to be fintech, but usually they are under this, they're in different verticals, but they're all fintechs. But it will be interesting to see how these, the verticals of fintechs. The exercises, there will be one final exercise for the course. I will ask you to present one of the issues that we raised in the course, how you think it's applied to something that you do either in your private life or in your business life. For example, if your company has already started with crowdfunding or lending in financial technologies methods, so I will be happy if you could present what was the problem, what was before the financial technology, how everything was administrated, and how fintech changed the way that business are done or something you did on your private life. And then what do you think will be the future of this process? So we will have like the past, the present, and the future in 10 minutes. It has to be very precise and accurate. So we have a pre-program assignment that has to be submitted 24 hours before the start of the course. I will send you the guidelines by the 23rd of July. So we will have almost a week to work on this and, and send it back by like a paper or whatever, an email. And then the last exercise is a 10 minutes of pre-approved topic, meaning that the last presentation on the 13th of August has to be pre-approved with me in terms of the idea for the presentation. And I'm very much looking forward to see and to learn how you see fintech in your daily life. About me a little bit. So I think that I was presented quite a lot, and you can read about me on my website, fintechforlongevity.com. But I want to speak now about the 3 women that I invited, and they agreed to come and tell you a little bit about fintech from different angles. So we're going to have 3 experts, and as a result of scheduling, and because they are very busy women, so all of them are going to join us on the second session of the meaning on the second day of the course, on the 6th of August. So on the 6th of August, we're going to have a lot of experts. These all 3 experts are going to join us on the 6th. So I want to start with Sue. Sue is a marketing expert, and she's the global director of N26. N26 is a challenger bank, meaning that it's not a bank that was developed in-house by a huge bank. However, a challenger bank is an independent bank. Now, Sue is not going to tell us about what she's doing today, but more interesting, I asked her to share with us her career in technology. She used to work in Microsoft, etc., and tell us a little bit about the career in fintech. So I think it's going to be interesting for you as well. Ravid is now working in Lemonade, which is one of the unicorn successful insurance technologies here in Israel. But what is unique about Inbar, and why I asked her to join me, is that she worked in the UK for many years, and she's an expert in open banking. Open banking is something that is going to revolutionize the financial services more than fintech. It's like fintech 2.0. And in Bar, we're going to tell us about, to share with us her expertise about open banking and the future of financial services. Last but not least, Dr. Michal Alperin. She is a digital inclusion expert, meaning, and she's working with me in Fintech for Longevity. She has a PhD in the psychology of aging, but in terms of fintech, she's helping financial services and fintechs to make modifications and adjustments in their onboarding and digital journeys in order for older adults to feel comfortable with financial technology. So I invited her to speak about how the world of digital or mobile payments could have been, which is not necessarily what is happening, could have been, or what modification would she suggest to these mobile providers in order to mitigate the barriers of older adults to access fintechs. So I think that the 6th of August is going to be very interesting with all these experts, but we will also study our material at this time. This is the outline of the course. So as you see, we have the number of the session, I mean the days, and then the date and the guest speakers. So in the first day, in the first 3 hours on the 30th of July, it will be an introduction, the foundation of fintech, contextual innovation, how fintech is disrupting the traditional financial and banking system. What is big data? What is artificial intelligence? What is ML, machine learning? And also I will speak how these big data, AI and ML are drivers for fintech because they help in data-driven analysis. And then lastly, on the 30th of July, I will speak about lending, crowdfunding, and electronic payments. In our second session, meaning that on the 6th of August, I will give a small talk about fintech for financial inclusion. And then Dr. Michal Alperin Ben-Zvi will share with us her expertise about accessibility of fintechs for aging adults. But then we will move on to the challenges and opportunities of open banking, which I call Fintech 2.0. And Inbar will share with us about half an hour about this topic. And then Sue, that is Sue Simha, that she's originally from India, will share with us her experience and Fintech and career in Fintech. Lastly, our last meeting will be about the privacy, data security, and digital identity. I know that in India, digital identity is very developed by the Aadhaar, which is the foundation of Fintech. So I think that in the sense of governmental digital identity, India is very much in the forefront. But also we will speak about what is blockchain and what is embedded finance and Internet of Things. These are very complicated issues. I will try really to make you a basic understanding of these terms and how they can help us in our day-to-day life, but also what are the trends in the development of blockchain solutions, embedded finance, and Internet of Things. When I say embedded finance, I mean, for example, that you can go in your car and when you arrive to a gasoline station, instead of taking out your credit card or paying with your mobile app, you will be able to press on a button in your car, which will be there already in the manufacturing process. So you will be able to press a button in your car, which will directly pay for the gasoline. So this means embedded finance, meaning that it's not anymore an application, it's embedded in other things like cars, airplanes, etc. And this is very interesting thing also about the future. Blockchain is a different story, and I will try to speak about blockchain about 15 to 20 minutes just for you to understand what blockchain is. The future of finance will be also, I will be speaking, but this is the time where we will hear your presentations, each one of you 10 minutes, and depending on the number of participants, maybe it will be a little bit less. So you will be prepared, and then we will all have a discussion together about the future of finance, given the ideas and practices that you brought to the class. The certificate that you're getting at the end is approved first by me, upon the submission of everything, the pre-course and the presentation. And this is by the Ahmedabad Management Association. So if you have questions about the certificate, so please, you are invited to reach out to them. I will be now very happy to answer questions.